Are we ready, Lindsay? Welcome, everybody, to the regular Board of County Commissioner meeting, already July 21st in 2026. Golly, months going by. If you help me, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any additions or change to the agenda?
Annie Gallegos, Human Services, will have an additional grant that will need a signature. And that was not known last week by the deadline and does have a deadline of this week. So it does meet the criteria. And we'd like to move under Commissioner Business item number 3 up to item number 1. And Bonnie with Colorado Growers is here.
Okay,
And I have a letter of support from Western Slope Outdoor Alliance that needs signatures.
okay,
That came in Friday afternoon.
okay. We'll approve the agenda as amended. Constituent time, is there anybody in the room that would like to address the board at this time? Okay, Mr. Turek. Just state your name and address, please.
Gentlemen.
Good morning.
Roads Chair, 5509 2000 Road Delta. I have just a quick statement because I think I'm listening to it right. On the minutes for the previous meetings, is there a set agenda or a place where I can find it, where I can get the minutes so I can kind of read up to it?
The minutes have to be approved by us before they are publicly noticed.
They're recorded in the clerk and recorder's office and online.
And at that time you can get them?
I'll give you my card and you can email me a copy and I'll give you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody online that would like to address the board? Okay. We'll continue with the agenda. Next up is County Clerk Terry Stevenson.
The July 7th Commissioners' regular meeting. Do you have any additions, changes, or deletions?
None?
Okay, thank you. And for your consideration, I'll also have a liquor license renewal for a lodging facility issued to Stage View Ranch LLC located at 40831 Highway 133 in Paonia. I've received all necessary documentation and fees for this application. I've contacted the sheriff's office and they've had no issues with this license. Therefore, I would recommend approval of this lodging facility license for Stage View Ranch. I do also have the Mitchells are here. If they have anything to add. Sure.
I'm going to move, we approve the liquor license renewal for Sageview Ranch LLC located at 40881 Highway 133, Paonia.
I will second the motion.
Motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Done. Thank you.
Also for your consideration this morning. LLC located at 1759 1580 Unit A here in Delta. I've also received the necessary documentation and fees for this application and contacted the sheriff's office and they had no issues with this license. So therefore, I would recommend approval for this hotel and restaurant license for Longhorns and Lakes.
I will move that we consider a liquor license renewal for hotel and restaurant for Longhorns and Lace LLC located at 1759 1580 Road, Unit A in Delta.
I'll second.
Motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next on our agenda, recognize the 100th anniversary of the Colorado Wool Growers and have a representative here. Okay, go ahead and come on up if you would, please. Just state your name and address for the record.
Bonnie Eddy, Executive Director for the Colorado Wool Growers Association, 5272 2000 Road in Delta.
Well, thank you for all your hard work in the Wool Growers Association. I know you've been active in it a long time. How many years have you been?
Well, I'm in my 27th year for the wool
20.
growers.
Okay, okay. Well, happy to have your voice in the agriculture aspect of this. You know, there's not quite as many sheep as there used to be, but still some herds around. Like to see those. They do a good job as far as grazing the high country, helping with fire mitigation, and they are quite an animal to herd. If you're not used to sheep herding, it's a different animal for sure. But thank you for coming. We have this proclamation recognizing the 100th anniversary right here. Would you like to read it or?
No, go ahead. My voice is a little rough today.
Okay, this is recognizing the 100th anniversary of the Colorado Wool Growers Association. Whereas the Colorado Wool Growers Association was founded in 1926 to represent Colorado sheep producers and lamb feeders and to support a strong, viable, and profitable sheep industry. And whereas for 100 years, the association has served as a trusted voice for Colorado sheep and wool industry by addressing legislative, regulatory, and policy issues affecting producers throughout the state. And whereas Colorado sheep producers have made lasting contributions to the state's agriculture heritage, rural economy, land stewardship, food production, textile industry, and Western way of life. Whereas generations of ranching families have demonstrated resilience, innovation, hard work, and a deep commitment to caring for livestock, conserving working lands, and sustaining rural communities. And whereas the Colorado Wool Growers Association has strengthened the industry through education, advocacy, collaboration, leadership development, and support for producers facing changing markets, environmental conditions, and regulatory challenges. And whereas the association work has helped preserve an important part of Colorado's agriculture identity while preparing the sheep and wool industry for future generations. Whereas the Colorado Wool Growers Association will celebrate centennial during its 2026 annual convention, marking a century of service to producers and communities across Colorado. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Delta County Board of Commissioners proudly recognizes and congratulates the Colorado Wool Growers Association on its 100th anniversary and expresses its appreciation for a century of leadership, advocacy, stewardship, and service to Colorado agriculture. Be it further proclaimed that Delta County honors the ranchers, families, industry leaders, and partners whose dedications has sustained Colorado sheep and wool industry for the past 100 years and whose continued efforts will help carry this proud legacy into the future. Proclaimed this 21st day of July 2026, Board of County Commissioner, Delta, Colorado, and we all three have signed it. And we'd like a picture, I'm sure.
May I share just a couple of quick facts?
You bet.
First of all, we're so excited to be headquartered here in Delta. That's really exciting for us. The Colorado sheep industry is one of the top states in the nation for both lamb and wool, not only in quantity, but also in quality. The last several Olympics, the wool that goes into the Olympic sweaters and blazers that are designed by Ralph Lauren, out of the 9 ranches in the United States supplying wool for that program, 6 of those ranches are right here in Colorado. So that's the level of quality we have on our wool clip. Last week we had 4 certified master chefs that we did a Lamb in the Rockies tour for. There's only 100 certified master chefs in the United States. In the last several years, we've been able to bring in several to Colorado because of our national and international reputation for Colorado lamb. So we're really excited to have the award. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to take this time to really brag on Bonnie. Bonnie has been the leader of the Colorado Wool Growers, like she said, for quite some time. Bonnie's known nationally for her attention to detail and for her expertise at really pointing out misinformation, and especially on the regulatory side. And she does a great job with Colorado Parks and Wildlife pushing back, and the BLM and the Forest Service, but also just walking the talk. And so I really want to brag on Bonnie. And she does a great job. Herding a bunch of sheep herders is not easy, because they are all very opinionated Vascos or Greeks, and Bonnie has an incredible job and does it very well. And so I just want to brag on Bonnie a little bit in addition to Colorado Wool Growers.
Thank you.
I didn't want Robbie to hold top.
Very proud of Cody.
Oh, my gosh, thank you, guys.
1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you Thursday, Friday.
You bet.
Do you speak?
Additionally, Bonnie also serves on the Public Lands and Natural Resources Committee for Club 20 and on the Executive Committee for Club 20. She has been a real leader in many, many ways, so.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Next up, we'd like to introduce the Delta County School District Superintendent Amber Clark, if you would come up.
Two people with.
Please
Okay.
do, yeah. Good morning.
Today.
Good.
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 Nice to see you. Sorry, we ran a little bit late.
That's all right.
Thanks for making time for us.
You bet.
So I'd like to start by introducing you to Joe Simo, who's going to be our Assistant Superintendent,
Morning, Joe.
and then Doug Craig, who's going to be our Director of HR.
Morning, Doug.
Morning.
Thank you for having us here today.
Well, tell us about your new tenure with Delta County School Districts and a little bit about you guys' backgrounds, and we look forward to working with you, certainly.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you, it's new. That's what I'll tell you about it. So we've been here since July 1st. It's a beautiful, wonderful team that we work with. In fact, we were just ending our directors meeting, which is why we were just a tad bit late. So thank you for accommodating that. So we have a beautiful team. That's our cabinet. Jen Magner looks after our academic curriculum and achievement and all of our instruction. We have Wendy Pyatt, who is part of or who oversees special services. All of you probably know Kirk Clay. He moved from the assistant superintendent position over to facilities and maintenance. That's been an opening in our district for a while now that it's gone unfilled. And so we're very excited for Kirk to do that. There's nobody better in the district to oversee that than Kirk, because he knows everything about our district. And so we're working on wrapping up some bonds and some construction projects, and Kirk's leading that for us. We also have Mike Madden, who continues to be our CFO. We've got Randall out at the TCR for the Tech College. And then we've got Coulter Christensen, who runs our tech department. Who did I leave out? And Nicole Ahern, who runs our nutrition services. So that makes up the team. And then this team right now is working very hard on getting ready for principals to come back, which will be Monday. And so we have a full professional development agenda for them on Monday and Tuesday, and then teachers come back. And so we have some mentorship that's going on for our new to the district teachers, as well as our teachers who are either alternate licensure or are still in a program, because every school district has some of those, because it's hard to fill every position that we have each year. So we're just heading fast towards the start of the school year, wrapping up summertime work, and then just starting to look forward to kids coming back to us. If you didn't know, we have a listening tour that we have started. I brought with us handouts for the listening tour. So in case you don't know when our listening tour events are, we'll be up in Paonia today. So far, we've hit Cedar Edge, we've hit Hotchkiss, we're in Paonia, and then tomorrow we're up in Crawford. So we have over 20 listening stops as we work through the end of July, August, and September. Our goal is to be in all of our communities multiple times, and we're hopeful that lots of people will come out and share with us their thoughts about how the district is doing, the things that we have to hold dear and not lose sight of, and those things that maybe we should put an eye towards to see if in time we'd like to make some changes. As we were talking as a district leadership team this morning, Kurt asked us, well, what's the message? And I would say the message is consistency. Our district has a lot of beautiful things going. And so we're going to move forward in consistency with our district. We'll change things as they need to be changed. But for right now, we're just getting to know our people, our teams, and our teachers. And so too soon to say if there's going to be any changes. We just need to get to know everybody. And the listening tour is how we're going to do that. So please come out and see us. Encourage others to come out and see us. There'll be times when it's just me and Joe. There'll be times when it's me and Doug. There'll be times when we have other directors that are with us, and it truly is a meet and greet and informal. We thought about making it where they had to sign up for a specific slot and that's your time. But then we thought that might be a barrier. Some people might really just want to stop by and shake a hand. And we wanted to open it up so that it could be easy for our community members. So what would you like to know about us? We're open books.
When's the first day of school?
Doug?
17th of August.
August 7th. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
The
that's,
principals are coming back Monday, you said?
Yeah.
Do they know that?
Yeah. Yeah. There. I'm excited, I'm sure.
I have a lot to prepare for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we're very happy to have you here, and thank you for coming for the board, introducing yourselves, and we appreciate working with you, and if there's anything that we can do that the board can help, let us know. We have Lindsay Mitchell here, who is our information officer, and she can push out some special events or anything else that might help you in your job.
Okay. We'll utilize you for that. Thank you.
And I think send you an email, but I'm happy to push out this new tour, but I want to.
Perfect. Well, how about I send you back an email today and we'll coordinate on that, okay? And so that would be the help that you could give us, is just encourage people to get out and about. And then I would also say, help us get on the right boards. All three of us are new at the district level this year, coming from other positions across the state of Colorado, obviously, and Doug is a local guy. But there are things that Kurt and Karen were on boards and listening events, economic development that we need to be on now. And so as you can think of those things, you know, send me an email that says, hey, Amber, did you think about being involved in this? And so you could help us with that.
all right, careful what you ask for.
Now, as those words are coming out of my mouth. Yeah. And then is there anything you guys would like to know about us? So we gave you kind of an overview of the district. Is there anything you'd like to know?
Will the district board meetings change date and time?
No, consistency is the theme this year. So we're gonna try to stay as consistent as possible. So no, they will not be changing.
Because I like to at least once a quarter try to attend those. It's
Yes,
very important. I really see this as a partnership with our school district and you guys. And I know Delta County is a very proud supporter of each of the booster clubs at each of the three high schools representing our three districts.
so I hope you guys will stay consistent in that.
You bet. You bet.
I
It's,
just figured out a way to get your listening tour on everybody's radar.
What would that
You
be?
get hooked up with Bonnie, who just left the room, and get some lamb chops at those events.
Ooh.
Yeah, come out of the woodwork.
I'll go find her.
And I have talked to Amber also about attending Club 20, so.
okay.
But glad to have you guys here and glad to have you on board as a partner.
We appreciate the invitation today. Just know if there's anything that you need from us, we're here for you as well. We see you guys as one of our main partners in the district, and we know that we have to have a relationship that's tight. We'll help you, you help us, and we'll do great things for our kids.
Okay.
Wish you the very best as you get started.
Thank you.
Number one, Monday, get those principals back.
It's true. Joe or Doug, do you have anything to add?
Nope, we're excited. Delta County is an amazing place.
Yes, it is.
We're gonna keep our schools growing and raising good kids.
Yep.
Doug should know he has two really, really good kids that are doing great things. So.
Anything to add?
Yep. It's very nice to meet you and appreciate your time
Yeah.
today. Thank
Yeah.
you for the invite and having us here.
Well, thank you for coming.
Appreciate that.
Let's not be strangers.
Giddy up. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much.
Join us for our listening tour, friends.
Okay.
We'll get
Next on our agenda, County Treasurer Lisa Tapoya. The semi-annual report, something I look forward to.
Good morning, Commissioners and Robbie. You should have the two-page semi-annual report, the presentation from January 1st, 2026 through June 30, 2026, presented for publication approval. The beginning balance on this semi-annual report is 21,141,376.69, which balances with the report that was presented in January with an ending date of 12/31 of 25. Current fund ending balance for 6/30 is $26,044,097.21, which does include the tax distribution to the taxing authorities, which went out on July 10th of $2,135,847.80. The only fund on this report that is showing a negative at this time is Fund 0940, which is on page 2, and that is the Treasurer's Office over short account. And this fund is fluctuating throughout the year based on tax payments that fall within our payment tolerance. So hopefully it won't get any higher or lower, and we'll be doing a great job. So,
At $34.55.
It is.
Talking about?
Yep. We have a payment tolerance, which we try to be very diligent about, just based on, are we putting more time into postage and staff time to collect $2, or should we just have a tolerance level and, wipe that one way or the other, whether it's an over or a short? So that's what that fund is used for.
Any surprises for you in this?
Any surprises?
Yeah.
No. I mean, I know that the overall balance is less than it's been in the past, but we've had a lot of construction that's been pulling that down, but I have no concerns at this time.
Oh, good. Thank you very much. We appreciate your interest in this type of project and all the diligent work that you and your team have put into this to keep everything balanced and notated and know where just about every penny goes. Thank you very much for your attention to detail on that.
We have a great team. They work
Okay.
hard.
Good, good. I know, go ahead.
Will you be here to do the annual report too?
The next semi-annual report,
No, the next annual report.
there isn't an
There
annual
is no.
report.
You
Unless
No.
you're throwing something at me.
didn't get that message?
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, and we'll go ahead with publication. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Is this an action item? Okay.
Okay,
Thank you again.
thank
Steve
you.
Mason.
Okay. Next up is the Lockhart Bridge Alternative Analysis. Should I go get Scott? I guess he was going to be part of this.
Scott got called to the after action review for the fire,
Mm.
so that's where he is at.
Okay,
And I believe that Tim was able to email you his recommendation. And
let me get back to that. Well, basically what it is the bridge over, going to the prison. And the condition of the bridge is such that we need to spend some money on it. We have been working on this for a while, getting engineering firms in it, the 100-year flood analysis, 25-year flood analysis, what type of bridge. We were thinking maybe a cement culvert, but it comes back to a steel bridge. And there are grants that hopefully we can, will apply for them and be approved to help cover the cost of this. And the ballpark for a steel bridge and installing it could be, $400,000 to $500,000. And if we get some grant money, since it's to an essential facility, being the prison, that we can defer some of those costs through the grant. And if you've ever looked under the bridge, it's time we spent some money on it. A lot of water can come down through that area and go underneath the bridge. There's 32 or 36 inch culvert that takes the overflow. when it's needed, but it looks like the recommendation is for the steel bridge rather than two cement culverts to handle the flow. We want the bridge to be over 20 feet long so that we can qualify for CDOT funds and grants. If it's shorter than 20 feet, you can't qualify for whatever reason. But anyway, that's what we're looking at. And the engineers department and then the engineers working on this, they need to know what our decision is on which type of bridge that we want to go after and put in out there, because like I say, it does need some attention for sure.
So County Engineer Tim McCracken has weighed in. He has reviewed the Lockhart Bridge alternatives analysis and has attached that summary. His recommendation is the bridge that the report recommends for you all to consider.
Would this go in the 27 capital?
It would.
Okay. Is this an action item?
It is.
Okay. Well, this is something that's been ongoing for quite a while and well overdue. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the prefabricated steel bridge as outlined in the Lockhart Engineering study for the Cottonwood Creek crossing in the amount of $445,000.
Just curious.
No, we're just
What are we doing?
We're recommending that go with the bridge instead of the culvert, not an actual dollar amount. So just.
Okay. Not awarding a bid, no.
Just agreeing with the analysis, and we're recommending that the steel bridge go forward for additional engineering.
That's what I meant to say.
Okay, thank you.
That's what we heard.
You stated it real well.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that analysis, because when you look at these numbers and you see the differences between the maintenance by itself compared to the box culverts on the bridge is radically different. But more than makes up for the difference in costs. So I will second the motion to pursue the prefabricated steel bridge option over the box culvert option that has been presented here this morning.
Motion is second on the floor. Any further discussion about this? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, so done. Thank you.
Okay, next for your consideration is the auctioneer services for the 2026 fair. We have two submittals for the RFQ, one from Delta County Sales Yard in the amount of $0. They're going to donate. One from a individual that auctioneered the sale last year, Dustin Glover, in the amount of $3,500 to cover the expenses in travel to and from Delta County from Oklahoma. The Delta County Fair Board has met and are recommending that you go with Delta County Sales or Delta Sales Yard.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
We'll make a motion that we grant the, is this actually
RFQ.
RFQ 2026. Let me get that right. 2026-RFO-01 to Delta Sales Yard in the amount of $0.
Second.
And the 2026 RFQ, I know that it doesn't look like the Q there, but it is.
Okay, that's a Q.
Okay, motion is second on the floor. Any further discussion about the auctioneering services? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, so done. Now you have a letter of support.
Lindsay, do we have a letter of support handy?
So,
WSOA?
yeah, did you want me to fill it here or do you want me to grab the hard copy?
Just grab the hard copy, please. Delta County is a member of the Western Slope Outdoor Alliance, along with Mesa and Montrose counties. This is a part of a statewide regional partnership initiative through CPW. It is time to apply for a a grant, one, to sustain the program, two, to assist in several of the projects. Thank you. That have been outlined. These are what we call the low hanging fruit projects for signage and others at high occupancy or high use recreation areas to minimize conflict between ag users and recreation users. WSO's asked us for a letter of support, and I appreciate Lindsay putting this together. Would you pass one down to Craig if you like? This is pretty standard, guys. And again, this came in Friday afternoon.
So you need a motion to accept this letter. Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah. Sign the letter.
I will make a motion that we sign the letter of support in regards to Colorado Parks and Wildlife Regional Partnership Program, envisioning a sustainable future for wildlife recreation and agriculture in the Escalante Basin.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so done.
Mike will use yours as the original.
Okay. What do you? Okay. Next up, we have ratify the warrants.
You may do this one.
Okay.
I'm going to move the board approve the payment of the warrants from the various funds for expenditures paid by warrants numbers 157655 through 157857 and ACH transaction 1594 through 1647 from June 1st, 2026 through June 30, 2026, totaling $1,314,748.41 in accounts payable and $1,945.25 in monthly county human services and health department June 2026 payroll for items budgeted and approved for Delta County policy.
And authorized chair to sign.
Authorized chairs.
I will second the motion.
Motion second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, so done. Thank you. Now, Lindsay, we're up for the schedule.
Today, the leaders to keyboard, I have 3:30 to 5. The 22nd, you see, 9 AM. The 27th, Delta County. 4. The 28th, 8:30, the USC standing work session. July 30th, we have a grant meet with Scenic Iowa community input session. That is 3 to 5 p.m. Peter Ridge Civic Center. All of the various more information is on our Facebook page. August 4th, 8:30, and our next for a county commissioners regular meeting. August 4th from 6 to 8 is. We good this far?
Well, Club 20, this,
Oh, I'm so sorry, we did, I did miss it, but I do have it now.
Okay.
It is on.
Who's all going to Club 20?
I'm gonna look into this CDOT meeting that's on the calendar for Thursday. I don't remember what that was, but if it's nothing, then I will be there.
So the
Mhm.
okay, August 5th is our night barbecue with commissioners. Community is invited for free food at the fairgrounds. Commissioners will be flipping hamburgers to Junos. August 6th at 9:30, to 11 is the CCI Western District meeting, that's virtual. August 10th, 4 is one Delta County. August 11th is the 8:30 at BOCC standing work session. August 12th at 10 a.m. CEU Wednesday, county leadership. August 13th, 7:30 a.m. we have scheduled coffee with Commissioner Wendell Prince. That's at Lazy. More information on our Facebook page and I'll be sharing out. Much for that.
Have you got a flyer on that one yet?
Yes, I will send that out. Does
Okay, because I want Amber and school district to get invited too.
you got it? I will make sure they have their. And I think maybe our stuff. People in county commissioners are getting.
On the 18th, I'm at Colorado Water Congress, so I won't be attending. Yes, on the 20th and 21st is the CCI Western District meetings, and I don't have an exact time, location, or agenda, but it's coming.
I'll keep an eye.
You say 20th and 21st?
Yes, it probably is one or the other, but
Oh, one or the other.
On the content, BOC stand.
Somehow I got the CCI Western thing on Friday. But I don't know if that's just August 21st.
that may be when it is.
We hosted that last year, didn't we?
We did.
At the Grove, or you know where it's gonna be this year?
I do not.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate that. Next up, we have Mark Lehman from the Crawford and Paonia State Park, manager of that area. Good morning, welcome.
Chair, commissioners.
Do you have that presentation, Andy, for the commissioners, or if not, it's okay. 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 I'm Mark Lehman. I'm a new park manager at Crawford and Paonia State Parks. I say new. Today is actually my 1-year anniversary on the job. So yeah, good timing there. So like I said, I joined that team, it was July 21st, 2025. I had started with CPW back in 2008 as a full-time employee. Most of my time has been up in the Northwest region, which we are much closer to the Northwest region office up in Grand Junction than I am to the Southwest region office down in Durango. So I'm still in touch with my old cohorts up there. I, like many current Coloradans, I'm not from Colorado. I moved here from Michigan back in 2005, started a family, and we have lived and worked pretty much my entire career in rural communities, and we're very happy to have landed in the North Fork Valley. It's right up our alley. So, I know Scott Rist, the park manager from Schweitzer Lake. I believe he presented for you the other day on some of the development going on at Schweitzer Lake. As you may know, Schweitzer, Paonia State Park, and Crawford State Park, previous to July of 2025, had been all managed as a complex. In July of last year, Schweitzer was split off so that the staff there could kind of focus on that major development going on there, and the Crawford and Paonia staff could focus on the operations at those two parks. Historically, I think there have been some logistical challenges in covering all three parks, especially with Crawford as the base. So this is a good move for the public, for the parks, for operations as a whole. I do manage, like I said, Paonia State Park. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about that park. Happy to answer questions and give you an overview. It's, as you probably know, up in Gunnison County. Our staffing structure includes, the park manager position. I also supervise a senior ranger, a park ranger position, which is vacant presently, and then an administrative assistant and a park resource technician, which is our 5 full-time staff members. 3 of those, we are fully commissioned post-certified officers. And then we also have 15 to 20 temporary and volunteer employees that we bring on for the busiest parts of the season. So that would be our Title 33 Rangers, which, if you aren't aware, we commission some of our staff to enforce Title 33, which is in Colorado Revised Statutes, applies to all the parks and wildlife statutes and regulations. So they have a limited commission, no powers of arrest or anything like that, but they enforce, fishing licenses and park passes and life jackets, a lot of the safety related stuff. So they're kind of our boots on the ground for much
Fire
of the
ban?
summer season. What's that?
Fire ban?
Absolutely. Yep.
Good deal.
Yep. We keep a staff out there through the night that, patrols the campground, ensures that, folks aren't violating certainly the stage 2 at this point. More often than not, when we're getting calls, it's people with their propane camp burners, which are still allowed in a stage 2, but they sure look like bonfires when they're setting them up in their campsites. Then we employ our maintenance staff, aquatic nuisance species boat inspectors, volunteer campground hosts, and our visitor services technicians that help us staff the office out there at Crawford. I assume you guys all have a pretty general working knowledge of the park and how we operate. As you probably know, both Crawford and Paonia are owned by the Bureau of Reclamation. All the water is held for irrigation purposes. Crawford is essentially split 50-50 between land and water acres at about 800 acres. We have 66 campsites, varying amenities, 3.5 miles of trail. And our recreational opportunities are, boating, fishing, obviously some of the trail use. Lots of wildlife viewing occurs on the park, and some limited winter recreation was not a big part of our operation last year. On a good year, my understanding is we can groom a trail out there. We had snow that covered the ground like 2 or 3 times this past winter. I'm sure you all are very aware of that situation. We see about 170,000 visitors annually at Crawford. So that brings a lot of people certainly into the North Fork Valley. And I think, the town of Crawford probably sees some business just because of the visitation specific to the park. And, seasonally, we kind of transition from our summer visitation and use to, becoming kind of a base camp for a lot of the hunting related activity in the area, and certainly a hub for hunting related information and license sales out of our state park office at Crawford. Some recent projects that we've undertaken out at the park. We have a general aging infrastructure that we've been working on. We've had some accessibility issues, lots of heaves in the concrete surrounding the park office. So we were able to redo all the pavement around there, and it's all shiny and new and accessible once again. One of our biggest complaints from our Iron Creek campground was the lack of shade. So we were able to go in and put shade shelters in each one of our campsites in there. We don't have a ton of trees out there. The trees that we do have we're struggling to keep them alive due to the drought. So it was a big upgrade to the park amenity right there. We also recently undertook a hazard tree mitigation. It would serve as fuel removals, but primarily we try to focus on hazard trees in our high use recreation areas, certainly areas that are adjacent to campsites and picnic areas, trails, things like that. So that's kind of an ongoing project out there. And then we're also in the midst of our application process to have Crawford become a Dark Sky International certified park. So, there's a whole criteria that you may be aware of for hosting events and, evaluating current lighting and infrastructure and making sure that we're compliant with dark skies. The resource is certainly there. We just are looking to make sure that we're in line with that and provide those good night sky viewing opportunities. For community interaction, we play host to the fireworks display, which is the culmination for the Crawford Pioneer Days. This year, we saw about 700 vehicles come into the park specific for that 2 or 3 hours over the fireworks display portion. We waive all the fees. It's just a big, as you all know, community event, and we're very happy to be a piece of that. In addition, a couple of our Durango Parks and Wildlife staff came up and hosted an educational table at the town park in Crawford. And one of our local canine officers performed a demonstration for the public as well. CPW has kind of recently invested in and been working to develop our canine program. It was a big event that we rely very heavily on additional CPW staff, like I said, support staff that came up for the educational booth, and they cooked hot dogs, which we gave out for free. But additionally, our local wildlife staff, who we work really well with, came out and just helped kind of manage, that short window of chaos. The Delta County Sheriff's Office has been a huge resource to us. We have a great relationship with the SO, and they were great support for that event as well as the North Fork EMS. And I think our regional fire protection districts like to kind of use that event as a big get together for their own kind of cookout and obviously to host that fireworks display. We interact pretty heavily with the Nature Connection, which, as you know, is a nonprofit supported by the Delta County Public School District, both on and off the park. They have their winter ecology days up on the Grand Mesa that we'll go up and assist with. They host a lot of events at Crawford and Schweitzer as well. And so that's right in line with our mission, is kind of cultivating an interest and an appreciation of the natural resource. And we get a lot out of those opportunities. We also get a lot of requests just from local school groups outside of the Nature Connection through Crawford Montessori and Hotchkiss and Paonia to host events. We kind of have this three-headed event of paddle boarding, archery, and fishing that we like to focus on. And it's a really fun opportunity to see the kids kind of growing in their outdoor knowledge and skills. I spoke a little bit about our local partnerships. Like I said, we have a great relationship with the staff with the Sheriff's Office. They're very supportive of us, and we try to back them up and support them whenever we have the chance. And we just keep open lines of communication. So we certainly appreciate the work that we do with the SO. The Crawford Fire Protection District, we're frequently out there spotting for fires. We see things that they may not see from Crawford Town proper. We have put out a number of small fires that have occurred on or adjacent to the park, lightning strikes, things like that. Over the years, we go around with both chemical and water-based fire extinguishers in each of our trucks we're not going to put out anything big, but if it's initial suppression, we try to keep our staff equipped to address things as they come up. We also host landing zones at both our Iron Creek and Peninsula boat ramp parking lots. And just several days ago. In fact, this picture here was from, an incident that had occurred adjacent to the park, that not all the helicopters landing at the park are related to park activity, but just for a regional resource. And then we have one of our state troopers that lives adjacent to the park as well. And my experience working in rural areas is that, your rural law enforcement relies pretty heavily on each other in those partnerships. And so, we do all we can to support, the state patrol and the sheriff's office, and we feel it's certainly a reciprocal relationship. Challenges that we're facing, face many others in the area and Colorado as a whole and the Western United States. The drought has been very difficult. This year at Crawford, we topped out at about 23 feet below full, which is a lot of water and a lot of surface acreage, certainly for irrigation and for recreation purposes. We, as of this morning, are about 6 feet from losing our low water boat ramp out there, which means we won't have any more trailered watercraft for the year. And that's best case, maybe a couple more weeks of boating at this point. It's not unprecedented, but it's not good to be looking at closing the boating in late July, early August. As you can kind of see in these pictures, it also presents some access issues. We have certainly the east side of Crawford Reservoir is quite shallow, and 1 foot of elevation could be 15 to 20 feet of linear distance. So access to the water is frequently involved in trudging through the mud, so it's not an incredibly appealing recreational prospect, but people do it because it's water and they like their water-based recreation. Yeah. We're still getting a lot of that use, and along with that, once we lose trailered watercraft access, we lose the opportunity to put our Boston Whaler patrol boat on the water, which we would use for rescues and things like that. So I actually went out and purchased a couple inflatable pack rafts from this company down in Mancos that our rangers will use to kind of paddle around and be able to do compliance checks for life jackets and just show a presence when we can't get our big 20-foot Boston Whaler on the water. Like I mentioned, we were doing these hazard tree mitigation projects out there. I had a local company come out last fall to give us a bid on a project. When they came out earlier this month to actually do the work, twice as many trees had died since last fall. And so the cottonwoods are really suffering out there and probably just about anywhere up here. So it was disheartening to see. Like I said, we try to focus on the positives of opening site corridors and removing, fuels and things like that. But it's, this is tough climate right now. I also mentioned our aging infrastructure. We have irrigation, many, many miles of irrigation out on the park, not to mention just our potable water systems. Last year, the town of Crawford had a big spring rehabilitation project, and there was a big push for us to identify leaks on the park. And we found several, many of which we were able to mitigate, but we anticipate more and more of those popping up. So staffing, recruitment, and retention, this area, comparatively speaking, is more affordable than many in Colorado, but nothing is cheap in Colorado. And, the cost of living is very difficult to bring staff in. And we have 3 trailers that we've purchased in an employee campground on the park. And that is our answer. That's our workaround to be able to bring people in from outside of the area. We always prefer to hire locally, but, it's just a matter of getting applications and having interest in the jobs that we have. And, this year, our boat inspectors, we're hiring for positions that were lasting 2 or 3 months. So, it's just a challenge in and of itself. We have a relatively young full-time staff. Our senior person has been in her position for 3 years now. She's been on the park for about 14, but, my senior ranger's been there for about 2 years. I've been on the park for a year. We hired our park resource technician this past spring. So we are all learning. We have a very skilled and dedicated staff, but we are building the institutional knowledge for sure. So, and like I said, we have our vacancy at one of our full-time ranger positions. That's just another one of our challenges is, you know, from Paonia State Park to Crawford State Park is close to an hour. So having effective coverage at both parks just logistically can be challenging. And being able to fill this full-time ranger position, which we are hopeful by the end of the year, we will be able to get someone into that role, would be really good for us just for coverage and public safety and enforcement. That's all I have for you. You know, I just wanted to give you kind of a high level of overview of the park and what we're doing and just take the opportunity to introduce myself.
You've got a lot going on out there. Congratulations on your first anniversary.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Appreciate all you guys are doing. Those are big resources that we have. We're fortunate to have them, but we're fortunate to have people like you to manage them for us. So.
Well, we're lucky to be there. Yeah.
Mark, what are you doing for aquatic nuisance species besides just the boat inspection? I know they're putting up new dip tanks and stuff.
Yeah, so, you know, dip tanks, they're installing one or have installed maybe even up at Highline Lake, which they're in a very different situation than we are, where they're a containment reservoir. You probably have a general knowledge of what's going on there. I mean, we had drained and treated Highline to try to mitigate the quagga mussel situation there, and only to find that it was coming in from that government canal and it's just basically being replenished up at Highline. So they do a lot of decontaminations. Essentially every boat that comes off the water at Highline is decontaminated. We are very fortunate that we are a prevention reservoir at this point. So we are not trying to, I mean, we're certainly trying to keep anything from getting into the park or into those waters, but we're not at risk of transferring any known aquatic nuisance species from Crawford. So it's a very rigorous inspection process. We do not allow access to the reservoir for trailered watercraft, which is where the vast majority of the risk is outside of our inspection hours. You know, we either close gates or we deploy spike strips to prevent people from getting into those boat ramp areas if we aren't there checking boats. We have, there's some limited access, that I wouldn't say Crawford is porous. There's really just the boat ramps for launching trailered watercraft. But I think over the years, people have kind of taken liberties, and if there isn't water there and they can drive a truck and trailer to certain areas that they have, and we have seen some illegal launches over the years. So we've tried to focus on some of those areas to make sure that we aren't getting boats launching outside of our hours or even during our inspection hours, but without getting an inspection, just to prevent any kind of introduction. And otherwise, we have our process, and if in asking questions and inspecting these vessels, a decontamination is warranted, that's certainly part of it out there. But it's a fairly standard process for a prevention reservoir, though.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for the information. We appreciate it. And like I say, you and your crew do a fantastic job up there. How many camp hosts do you have?
So presently we have hosts in 3 sites, totaling 4 hosts. We have a couple this is their 4th season now coming back out of Arkansas, and 2 other gentlemen that help. So 4 campground hosts or 4 individuals, and they do a lot for us. I mean, their roles are, they engage a lot with the public. Sometimes they talk to more people than the rest of our paid staff do. They turn over campsites between visitors.
So that can be a hard job too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And so that's why, we try to staff enough of them that, we're not taxing our volunteers so much that they're not getting what they want out of the opportunity, and that they're, feel appreciated and as much a part of the team as they truly are.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time and your information.
Mark,
thank you for the opportunity.
Have you got a card?
I do.
And we'd like you to put August 5th on your calendar. That's the community night at the.
Consider it?
No,
Oh, at,
fairgrounds.
okay,
So
yeah.
we're cooking dinner. Can
Love to
you,
be
you
there.
and your staff, you
Yeah.
can.
Yep, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You guys.
Thank you. Next up is Human Services, Zanny Gallegos and her crew. Thank you for coming over. I'm gonna get some coffee. I'll be right back. Okay.
Getting seats.
I thought that was the last time we were in.
So. Do you want me to talk about that part first? Oh, this morning, okay. Okay, just making sure, because we did have an addendum to the agenda for action items for us today, but we'll go ahead and get started with financials. All the fun things, July 1, state fiscal year.
Here's the page. Okay. Nothing that I had to specifically highlight for a payable report. Were there any questions? On it? For this one?
Education programs, still have a crew going to those and paying their travel expenses.
For new training?
Mhm.
Or, yeah, yep. And then for CPS, the state reimburses us, after we put in like a bajillion pieces of paperwork. It's worth it. But then I think there was a few conferences for your section. I know we paid the bill, but I don't know what they're for.
So eligibility had a conference, child support had a conference, and then child welfare has 3 individuals in academy right now.
Mm.
So they're going back and forth every other week for about 6.5, 7 weeks.
How many zeros is a, what'd you say, a cajillion? Or gazillion? You said a gazillion? You said a number. A lot of zero.
But don't worry, it'll be digital. She doesn't print out any paper.
Did we ever get reimbursed for the client you had that was housed in Florida?
Yes, yep, we got that. I want to say in spring, potentially, when they finally close that out.
Yes, in December.
There you go.
Literally, we cashed it on like the last business day of the year.
Oh, that's right, because you were
Yeah.
wanting to get that in for year end. Yeah, yep. So it did take a while for that reimbursement. He was out of that placement for several months before we received that reimbursement, but we did receive it.
That was a significant amount of money.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And for Delta County's first out-of-state placement, it was quite a learning curve. And significant. And so one of the things we're trying to work with HICPUF and the Ray on is streamlining that process. It felt like every time you got to the end, they'd say, oh, but there's one more piece of this you have to do. And you just felt like, when am I ever going to get there? Right. And so counties, I think, who don't do those type of placements often, they struggle with understanding all of those pieces. So we've been trying to work with them about assisting counties in a better way to do that. So
And I'm trying to get them to be registered before we place the child there. Significantly helpful. If they're registered with Medicaid to be paid through them. It's a lot easier than when we placed and they weren't, and then we were waiting for them and they waited for us, and it was,
right.
yeah, a big learning curve.
There's only a certain facilities out of state that will contract with Colorado Medicaid. And so that's the barrier. There's a lot of facilities that would be more than willing to take some of our youth in out of state, but they're not willing to contract with Medicaid rates. And so
Medicaid across the board, or just Medicaid here in Colorado?
Medicaid here. So they have to contract and,
Yeah.
and be able to accept it. And those rates aren't necessarily lucrative by any means.
No.
And so it's hard. Yeah.
Still track that kid, is he in Colorado still?
He's in Colorado Springs now, I believe.
He is in a adult post home, and so he will continue living there on the adult waiver. So he's aging out of our system essentially, but will still continue to have his needs met. He has high needs in the disability world. So, yeah.
In terms of where we are with the budget for this year, we should be at 42%, and we are at 40.6, which normally takes us a little bit more to teacher out, but 1 month ahead for teaching out this year. Are there any questions regarding where we are in the budget?
I have none.
The fun part is you just take one, it's the allocation expenditures, the memo came out. There is a correction on it, for the CCAP line. It'll actually be reduced by 115,995 from the 1,080,000 that's in that line.
Effective
September.
okay.
That is the vote to decrease the $20 million statewide. Yeah.
And then, our parental fee balance is, did I put it on yours? Is it next to, the very last line, parental fees? Was there a number there? I forgot.
Yes, here it is.
Okay.
19,370. Hold on. Sorry. It's the same sheet, I thought. About as a
So we no
packet.
longer collect parental fees anymore. So that is a balance that we utilize for specialized funding when we need to, there isn't something that fits in an allocation to spend. We used to collect that with child support cases and the collection of foster care fees, and that changed a couple years ago. So that's what's left, but we won't gain anymore.
And we haven't used, like, even as close to how much as we were since we've, gotten the care portal through, the Product 127. So they've been able to get a lot of what they need through that portal instead of us, paying. So if everyone has their sheet, if you wanted to go line by line, it's our admin allocation went down by 201,000. They've in quotes supplemented that through the HR1 funding, which is that new line of 106,954. The issue is that like the HCPF admin allocation, no one knows how it's back ended read out, like how they take our admin costs and how much they charge to HCPF admin. It's been a question for the last 20 years. They made like a change during Leona's time, and I've asked the new ones, the old ones settlement, and no one can actually answer how they proportion out what's charged to HCPF admin and what's not. And there's that same questionability in terms of this 106,954. So although they gave it to us, it's still a question on how they're gonna, like, are we able to use the whole 106,000? No, this year, or we're not sure. Like this year, out of the HCPF admin, we had 198,000 that wasn't used because we can't directly bill to it. It's back ended out through settlement, who also, in the quotes, said they're in a nervous boat about how this is gonna be billed.
And that allocation was given to counties in the supplement of HR1 changes. So once those HR1 changes come into play, it's probably going to increase workload. And so they're directed specifically to work on those cases. When they looked at our Medicaid population, they said they averaged out that 30% of our Medicaid population is the expanded population, which is going to have the most effect for HR1 implementation and the every 6-month renewals, work requirements, all those types of things. And so it's money allocated for the extra work that will happen on those cases. But it's supposed to be in place for 2 years. We'll see. We don't know how it's gonna pan out if we'll spend all of it, like Nicole was saying, or if we don't spend all of it because we don't know how they're coding in the back.
We will be tracking it.
Yeah.
Really.
You said 30% of the cases. What is that number case-wise, caseload?
I think it was 2298 out of 71. I think it was 7,100 something, and it was 2298.
Very significant numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, and it changes to individuals instead of households. So those redeterminations and the specific requirements then are individually based versus household based.
So you could have several individuals in the same household.
Yes.
Mm.
Yep, and they could all have different redetermination dates, which is why that workload is going to be wonky, for lack of a better word. It's gonna get interesting. So.
Yeah, and we anticipate that starting in November. Those redeterminations are sent out 45 days prior to when they're due. So November is when the January redeterminations are gonna be sent out. So one of the things Nicole, we had asked her to find out is if we can start using that funding in November.
And he answered me back, he doesn't know yet. That's the settlement guy who does the back end billing. And the last bond meeting, which was a month ago, they said they would talk about it. Even in the memo, it says to be determined. And it's not yet determined.
And BOG is.
The
Financial
yeah.
oversight
Kenny-
group,
It's all the finance.
Okay.
finance
government
oversight group.
group
Yeah.
piece.
Another acronym,
Yeah.
just for you, Craig.
Is that 1 or 2G?
1G.
Okay.
Be a retirement
That's funny, they changed it.
uses BOG.
If you retire in Ackerman, does that mean you have to come up with a new one?
For APS, the client services and the admin allocation for that, that's the allocation path through I was on. We did do some demographic changes in terms of adjusting percents of what demographics are used. And we also voted or pushed forward to have the
No floor.
WAC and the JBC votes for no floor this year, which is why there was a significant bump, which we should have also had a bigger bump last year, but because there was a 5% floor, we did not get that bump. So we did overspend this last fiscal year in APS by about 30,000, which should be vertically settled within like the state allocation. So it shouldn't cost us, even though we. That's the first year, I believe we've overspent that in quite a long time. Which could be good to know.
Which limits us, so out of APS, we have 2 full-time caseworkers, 1 lead caseworker, a half-time, I think she does maybe quarter time at this point, and a half-time case aide. And so we are not going to be able to expand to another caseworker as the caseloads continue to increase just because of that allocation. There's no way we can do that at this time.
For TANF, it went down about 25,000. For child welfare, the block allocation went up, but really what it was is they took from core and moved it to the block because they noticed that it was easy. At the end of the year, they normally pull from the block and the transportation allocations to satisfy the overspend in that block or in the block allocation. So instead of doing that at the end, it was voted to move over already.
And part of that justification is that the state believes that core has traditionally been underspent. It's where we pay for all of our therapeutic services. And it is true statewide, it's underspent, but in rural communities, it's traditionally overspent because of the lack of Medicaid resources in the area.
And then for LEAP, the actual allocation will come out closer to September. But we do know that the outreach incentives, the 20,000 we gotten 2 years ago, we will again not get, they're gonna be conservative in that program and not get that grant or that additional allocation out. I think that's everything. I think I'll skip anything. Yep, and move on into your.
Alrighty.
We did something.
I know, right? Okay, so we'll start with our first action item. We'll do two of those and then I'll go into the traditional updates. But the first one is the letter to Senator Bennett, Hickenlooper, and Congressman Hurd that we talked about in our work session related to SNAP PER and the request specific for extending the delay of SNAP benefit cost sharing requirements. So I did update it based on the feedback from the work session, was able to put in some stronger language related to Delta County's information and how the impact of PER and the payment error rate with accounting the methodology that they're using. So I broke that down into specifics as well. So I hope you're able to read that. And then the ask would be that we sign all the board signs myself and we send it off. Any thoughts or questions?
We need a motion on this.
I believe so. Yes. Take this there.
What are you gonna call that? A letter of support or a letter of, oh, here it comes.
A letter of support for the SNAP payment error rate cost sharing delay.
I'm gonna move the board approve the letter to Senator Michael Bennett, Senator John Hickenlooper, and Representative Jeff Hurd regarding the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program and the cost shifts enacted in HR 1.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. Motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion? Sounds like a well-written and needed letter.
And
All those in-
appreciate the ability to look at it at the work session.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and thank you.
Okay, now the next piece is the great news of the day. So this was the amendment to the agenda. One of the things that Human Services consistently struggles with is vehicles. And we, in the past, in the long past, we used to purchase vehicles and then we got into a position where we were leasing them, hoping that that would be a cheaper option for us. But it turns out that usually our mileage, because of especially child welfare, traveling and the amount of traveling we have to do in transportation, because we know transportation is a barrier for our families, that the mileage factor ends up popping out before the lease is even close to being up. And so it ends up not working out financially for us. So that's one thing we've struggled with. Another piece is our family drug court program. We work with other individuals and stakeholders to provide incentives to families that provide quality time. For example, when an individual successfully completes drug court, there are graduation events that occur, their celebrations, and as they complete milestones in their sobriety and their visitation increases, allowing quality events of whether it's attending, a movie together or having a dinner together. And so being able to provide some of those activities to families, we don't have another funding source for that. And then the last piece is that we have several kids on our caseloads that need the assistance of applying for Social Security. And that process can take up to a year. It's very time intensive. It takes a subject matter expert sometimes. And within our own capacity, we don't have the ability to do it. But we can contract with an agency that can do it for a specific price per kiddo. And so with those three things, I did apply to Rocky Mountain Health Plans for their Healthy Neighborhoods grant. And I specifically identified the issue with vehicles, drug court incentives, and the Social Security needs for our community kiddos. And we did receive a grant. The amount is $150,000. And we received it yesterday. And so we added it to the agenda because there is some time constraints of when we can spend that money and utilize that, but it'll save us significantly with especially the vehicles, time, and get essential services to our kiddos. So today I am asking that the board would sign for the attestation for the purpose of the funding, reporting and accountability, so that they can release the funds and we can move forward with purchasing needed equipment.
SSI, the disability we can use to apply for those kids' needs versus the survivor benefits starting July 1st, we're no longer allowed to use those at all. They have to just be kept in an account till the kid is now 18 or until their custody is changed and then we have to pay that back. That was a new law that just started.
Annie, do you have to go out for an RFP for these vehicles?
We would do that. Yeah, we would work with the county attorney's office to do that. Yeah.
And what, are you looking for sedans?
We were thinking even, like those, like mid-size SUV, something that can, allow us to have kids in the car transporting, but also get us over the mountain since we're over the mountain quite a bit. So, but reasonable enough so that we can, insure a fleet that will last us.
Number of seatbelts you need in each vehicle or?
There are times where we have had to take 2 vehicles to removals at times and things like that, but it just, you never know. So, but essentially, in the middle of the night, picking kiddos up and bringing them somewhere, even to the office, to have a reliable vehicle is very helpful. It's stress relieving of all the other stress that's happening in those moments.
Well, I'm going to congratulate you on getting this grant. That's a healthy sum.
Yeah, very excited.
And I know you guys have put this money to good use. So I'm going to move that the board approve the community reinvestment attestation as provided and authorized chair to sign.
I will second that motion.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Done. Thank you.
Okay, so now the last part is just our
You got more.
updates. What?
You got more.
Yeah, but there's updates.
Okay.
I don't have anything as exciting as that. So I don't know why Delta County is so lucky to have been in the 3-year cycle for audits that every program is in an audit at the same time in the same year. So we've had, we had our management evaluation through HICPUF. We now have our SNAP ME. We'll have state staff here all day tomorrow, over the shoulder, and interviews with our members and at the front desk. They'll be visiting Hotchkiss. Child welfare just went through their audit and adult protections audit is next month. So every program is going through it right now. So that is one we're prepping for is the SNAP management evaluation. They will look at EBT issuance. They'll look at conversations with individuals in those interviews. They have specific technicians identified that will be, the state will do some oversight with and things like that. So they're prepping for that. And then most recently, they're working on a funding model update for county administration. And so unfortunately, when they rolled out the survey and the timekeeping, they did it at the same time as the eligibility group had their conference. And so there wasn't a lot of participants. The information wasn't entered accurately. And so we're asking that they, to the state, that they need to redo parts of that at a more crucial time. Essential time in which they can get a true representation of what amount of work is actually being completed. So that's a piece that counties are working on to push back a little bit with the state on. And child support had their conference in the very beginning of June, end of May. It's always the same time the CCI conference is. And they did meet all of their federal measures again for Medium County. So they did receive an award. And so you'll have a great, lovely picture of the group next month. And then child welfare, we did hire the 3 new caseworkers and the case aide. And then we were able to internally move a caseworker to the supervisor position. And so that left us a vacancy. So we have now another vacancy there. And so we're looking to hire in that position there. But having those 3 all in academy together is really nice because they can bounce ideas off of each other, kind of network with other counties. But it's a it's a good time when they're in academy and they have rural counties, large counties all together. They learn really well. So, and they also completed the in-home case and assessment audit. The last audit actually for that program was 10 years ago. So yes, so that is cases where we are open and providing services, but children aren't in out-of-home placement, because anytime a kiddo is in out-of-home placement, that's automatically audited every 6 months anyways. So this is the in-home cases and then all of our assessments. And we had several caseworkers receive 100%. They were praised for their documentation. They were praised for their safety assessments and their justifications for reasons of why we're intervening or why we're not intervening. And so they wanted to use some of those as actual examples for the state. So we're pretty proud of staff for that. So we actually have our report out on the 28th. And so all the staff will get to hear the results there. And then adult protection, we saw a significant uptick in referrals this last month. And so we're continuing to anticipate, we know that population for the county is growing. We know that we have seen trends more of self-neglect and financial exploitation. That has been more recent. And so they're trying to balance the stability of the caseload with the size of the balance the caseload with the amount of caseworkers we have. There you go. And so anticipating that one is going to be gone for a couple of months, Melissa will finish her academy a week before that person goes out. So we'll have a little bit of transition there, probably need some help from the surrounding counties, but they have committed to that so that if we need assistance in our caseloads, Montrose and Mesa have said that they would assist us. So that is our plan.
In these 20 additional referrals this month, any of it due to the extreme heat or is it more?
More were self-neglect. So which can be just not caring for yourself in those conditions. Yeah. Yes. But that is all I have for today.
And you need my signature on this?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Please.
Thanks,
Did you want
ladies.
to talk about the fair? Okay. We've Fun Bunch. You're gonna make me do it. Oh, do you do it? The Fun Bunch is planning, as you know, we will be another event. So we'll keep you updated about what that will look like. That's that's fine. All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you guys.
Tell your crew, thanks for all their hard work. All right. Thank you. I'll do the jail report. Monday, July 6, 2026, Delta County Detention Facility Population Count Report. Male inmates, County Jail 26, female inmates, County Jail 5, male inmates, Department of Corrections 1, for a total of 32. Average daily inmate population for the week of 6/29/26 through 7/6/26 was 39.2. The facility count for Monday, July 13th, 2026, male inmates, County Jail 29, female inmates, County Jail 3, male inmates, Department of Corrections 2, for a total of 34. The average daily inmate population for the week of 7/6/26 through 7/14/26 was 42.5. Okay. Next up at 10 o'clock is planning, and we'll recess for a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back to planning. We're back on. Okay. Next up, we have one item from planning.
Where's Warren?
So day two, given 26-02. Those This is to accept dedication and road right away, Delta County for Davis Road totaling in 0.43 acres. The property is located north on Davis Road in not Delta, in Crawford. So here you will see the final plat. The final plat does include 3 parcels. We did accept it as a minor plat. The third lot is technically an outlot, and it's only created because Davis Road for the dedication. Lot 1 will total 24.28 acres. Lot 2 is 5.32 acres, and the outlot is very tiny, and it equals 0.25 acres. The total for Davis Road dedication, as I said before, be 0.43 acre. And with that, staff recommends that your board accept a quitclaim deed dedicating road right away for Davis Road as public road in the amount of 0.43 acres and authorize the clear of time on plat. And I'm not sure if I see Liz is online who is acting as the applicant.
Could you give us a definition of an outlot?
An outlot is it's usually for open space. Like it's doesn't have water and not septic. It's open space.
And you said Liz is online. Is there anything else, Liz, that you would like to add? Guess not. Okay, thank you.
And that outlot is located in the southwest corner.
Yeah, it's south of Davis Road. It appeared that at one time there was a shop at this place. It is no longer there. It is a vacant piece of property. We did speak to county engineering at the time of review of this process. They were unsure if Davis Road even needed to be dedicated, but it seemed as if that's what the surveyor put on there, and that's what they stayed with.
Thank you.
We usually don't process things like this as a minor plat, but taking it forward to a preliminary plat with that block getting so small, and requiring water to it. Not sure if that was something that would be approved anyway.
Could the adjoining landowner buy something like that and merge it into theirs?
To include teeny lots there too,
Okay.
which is a very helpful thing.
So. Sorry, I may have missed this. So in regard to that outlot, is it restricted on its building, and are we requiring water and such, or no?
No,
So is there a plat note that restricts that lot in any way?
I don't believe so. On the deed, there could be. Would you prefer a plat note be put on a restriction on the note, or the plat, or the deed, or both?
I don't know that I'm prepared to answer that.
Okay.
But we don't want to be creating lots that don't have water. That's kind of a fundamental planning concept in the Delta County policy. So is it being assigned a separate lot number? Or how is it being defined?
Just as outlaw.
Okay.
Do we need to table this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there probably should be some. What the quality of that lot is, so we're not creating these, we're effectively creating a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah, we don't want to have the same issue we had over here with malfunctioning septic and
Well, in any case, it doesn't meet any of our criteria.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
What?
Or any of those, so.
we're creating a non-conforming.
Which it wouldn't meet requirements for septic anyway.
Yeah.
And
It would not.
it would. Purchasing a water tap for the small acres.
Liz, do you have something to say?
Me, Liz, are you asking me? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now? All right, I
Yep.
apologize. I am almost to the building. It would certainly create a significant hardship if the family was not allowed to proceed. I think they would be absolutely fine with any kind of restriction or plat note. It's my understanding though that the outlot is when you call it an outlot, it's not. I see a lot of properties that have parcels that are created because it's not per se the family's fault or desire to try to create this outlot. It's just a matter of function because of the dedication of the road. Is that correct, Brittany? Is that what's happening? Is because of the road that this separate parcel across the road has been created?
Without that dedication, it would not have created.
Right. And isn't there a way to still tie? I mean, I see a lot of tiny little parcels that are on the other side of the road that are still being taxed with the main piece. It's not is it or is it not technically creating a separate parcel that could be sold separately? Because I know that they don't have any intention of selling it, but we're talking about, you know, a small little piece of ground that, as the one commissioner mentioned, could be potentially done as a boundary adjustment to a contiguous neighbor. Is that neighbor not the BLM or is it a private person?
I wouldn't know off the top of my head, but yes, it would be creating it a separate parcel or lot because of the road dedication.
I see. So, back to the families. I mean, it would be a real hardship if we had to table this and wait longer because of a housing situation. I know that's not the county commissioner's issue or problem, but it would be wonderful if we could find a path forward so that we could proceed with this process and at the same time protect the county against creating a parcel that, of course, is not the intention of the owners, you know? Is there any way to do that? Like with what you said, either having the surveyor add a plat note to that, like no building or no residential, and then also likewise, or putting it on the deed, because it's easy enough to put it on a deed.
What's your advice, John?
I mean, it's probably better if we kind of take a look at this, I just know what the restrictions are, I understand. Timeframes is probably something that should have been addressed earlier in the process. Because it's, you know, through our planning process, obviously, we shouldn't be creating non-conforming lots. Maybe they go without saying, but I guess I'll say it out loud. And so I don't, you know, I think tabling it for 2 weeks, until the fourth, I don't know what the RIC, the grimace on this.
Well,
Space, but, I mean, if the board is intent on going forward today, I guess I would say do some kind of contingencies that it is, notated on the deed and on the plat. It's restricted to no use, no development, this and that, and the other, whatever. Here's the challenge in Delta County. You all notice. We don't have building. I'm not advocating, let's be clear, I'm not advocating for that, but we have no building code. We really don't have a building permit process. And once these things get created, no one looks at them for a couple of decades and somebody built their house and little ranchette on that tiny little spot. I mean, we know that happened. And that's a challenge.
Go ahead, Liz.
How big is this parcel?
It's 0.25 acres. So it, again, it wouldn't even meet the requirements for a septic. I get the water situation and I agree that we shouldn't be creating undeveloped lots, but the dedication to that road created it.
The timeframe, could we hold a special meeting just for this if they get it the next day or two? Or is that unreasonable? Uh, to protect the county and the potential person down the road that, so that we could go ahead and get this done in a timely manner.
Well, we can certainly hold a meeting. The dedication of the road has created the lot.
Correct.
And the dedication of the road is based on information from engineering.
Correct.
Okay,
Well, it's not our policy.
right. Correct. So,
So no one is saying that the developer.
right,
Are intending anything, but it's just a matter of intending anything nefarious.
Sure.
But it's a matter of applying our land use code as well as our road and bridge standards to a situation.
right. So, I mean, you could move forward as with the recommendations that these plat notes be added. You wouldn't have to hold a special meeting, or you could,
And I would say.
or
if you're gonna
hold a
do that-
special meeting, yeah,
If you're gonna do that, plat note and a deed language, and that could be figured out.
right.
Before finalization.
I'd rather go the contingency route and add that to the motion on accepting the right of way.
And to be clear, these things are gonna come up. This is nothing, this really is not that unusual. It's just, I'm maybe encouraging the planning staff, let's kind of address these things before we get to public meeting and a board. So that this stuff is ironed out before we get here. But that's fine.
So we could go ahead and proceed with contingencies and they'll put that on the plat note.
Beautiful.
I think that's what we'd like, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna make the motion here.
Okay.
Let me know where I screw up on this one. For PLN 26021 Gallegos, I'm gonna move that the county accept the right of way to Delta County for Davis Road at 0.43 acres as a public road. The property is located on the north side. What'd you call it?
Outlot?
Outlot property is located on the north side of Davis Road, south side. Parcel number as described in the recommendation here. Contingent upon the outlot being defined as non-buildable and noted on both the plat and deed, and authorize the chair to sign.
You okay with that, John? Sound good?
I think that's as good as we can do.
I will second the motion.
Motion second on the floor. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, so done. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
The
Thank you for
family-
showing up.
Thank you. And apologies. Okay, are you done with me? All right. With those specific words, I'm gonna call Chris Crossford right now. You'll have something tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is for a family. They're certainly not developers and they will greatly appreciate your.
We gotta think 20 years down the road.
Yeah, oh, no, and I understand.
Yeah.
I get it. As a matter of fact, I was almost gonna say, I wonder if they wouldn't want to just dedicate that to the county too, maybe a little turnaround, a little pull, like, let's give it all to you. All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Liz, how much money did you raise Saturday night?
$20,000.
Ooh.
And it was really amazing. Thank you so much for attending. The cemetery in Crawford is expanding their footprint and the community really showed up. It was fantastic. They've never done anything like it before. The committee is primarily senior citizens and they're not used to having events, and the fact that it came together the way it did was really quite lovely. So,
Guess what I have in my office?
do you want another one?
No, I'm
We
good,
want to give
thanks.
it to you. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks again, everybody. Thanks for all your hard work.
Yep.
And honestly, the family barely grasped the concept that this extra parcel was being created, so we'll get it straightened out. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay. That's all that you have? Okay, thank you very much. Let me know when you got the new one to sign. Thanks. Next up, we have County Attorney John Bear with a couple of items for the board. 10:15.
I think we're good.
You got it all. agenda.
Alrighty, good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. I have one item for the board consideration this morning under regular session. That's the board consideration, assignment of lease at Blakefield Airport, hangar number 192. This would be Air Arizona LLC to B&S Holdings LLC. Pretty standard stuff. These are actually the same, at least I understand it's the same family. This is just a different LLC. And my apologies that I actually listed wrong. It's Air Arizona Incorporated to B&S Holdings LLC. But again, same signatories on this, so pretty routine stuff. But if you have any question, I think that answer.
Okay. I have no questions.
I have none other. I'll make a motion that we grant a consideration of assignment of lease Lakefield Hangar 192 from Air Arizona Incorporated to V&S Holdings LLC.
Authorize the chair.
And authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so done. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Board. That's all I have for this morning. Adriana Hartley is here to conduct a executive session. I will excuse myself. Thank you.
Okay.
John, did you get everything you need from Dave Mitchell?
I think so. I'll go through all.
I asked him to make sure he provided all that.
Archive that.
Yep.
It's done, Terry. Thank you. Thank you much. Oh.
Okay. So we'll need a motion to go into executive session.
Kick us off.
Yes, for the record and pursuant to Colorado Revised Statutes 24-6, 402, 4B, I am asking the board to enter into executive session so that the board can receive legal advice on a specific legal question that has been identified in the agenda here today, specific to the Ginters Grove Public Improvement District.
So do we,
We're asking
you want to
for-
second that motion or is that leave our motion?
No, we got to make the motion.
I will make the motion that we enter into this executive session with the outline that Adriana just shared with us in regards to Ginter Grove Public Improvement District.
The people present.
The people present will be Adriana Hartley, Lindsay Mitchell, Terry Stevenson, Craig Fuller, Mike Lane, Wendell Kuntz, Robbie LaValle.
And we'll adjourn at the end.
And we will adjourn at the end.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, so done. Thank you.
Just one.